I don't feel like it's a real thing 100% yet.
It is. We're moving. I think we can try.
Oh no, James has been in Indonesia for less than 24 hours and he's already developing doubts. He's not sure he actually wants to live here. But it might be too late, James. Tata's adamant you are moving, like it or not. And on that note, someone else who isn't liking things at the moment is Statler.
Yay, I'm here. I'm not gonna try to force myself to fake it. Like you, that's one part of me that you like, that I'm real. I'm always honest and real, so I'm being real.
Wow, that really isn't the kind of reunion you'd expect after 2 months apart from the love of your life. Statler really isn't showing much excitement. But before we dive into that, before we dive into all the drama with Lily and Josh and their money issues as well, let's start this recap with James and Tata. So the pair are now reunited and they're in a happy little bubble. For now, until reality kicks in. But at the moment, for the time being, James is just over the moon to be physically back with his wife.
Yo, you better be ready for an endless supply of those. Like you're on like a kiss buffet now. I'm so excited to be here in Indonesia with Tata.
Now, for as much as the words kiss buffet make me slightly nauseous, it is sweet to see how happy they are to be back together. They share that wisely they're going to be spending a few days alone in a hotel before moving back in with Tata's parents.
Definitely want to be able to get really close, probably a few times, actually touchy each other, if you know what I mean.
Yes, James. No need to spell it out. No need for the hand movements. We get it, alright? Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can, because when you see your bedroom in Tata's parents' house, you might be wishing for that hotel room back. Now, having just arrived from a long flight, Tata wants to take James to go and say hello to her parents before they check into their hotel room. So they get in a very interesting vehicle, a very cramped vehicle, and after a dicey ride, they finally arrive at her parents' house.
Are we here?
Yeah.
Feels like I'm going to the Indonesian White House. It's got these giant pillars that just go up, up, up. It's a big place.
Wow, okay, that is a massive house. Remember, we know that 7 people already live there. 7, and then there's also going to be James and Tata joining soon too. But seeing it, given the size of it, I don't think that's going to be the biggest issue here. Now, Tata says that the house is still under construction. Her dad keeps adding to it, keeps building more and more. But of course, while the house and the construction may be impressive, it's people that make a home. So how will Tata's family actually react to James?
Saya sangat senang sekali Jim datang ke sini membawa.
It's touching to see how welcoming Tata's parents are. Remember, they didn't exactly get much warning that James was coming, but they're more than happy that he's there, and they're very excited to show him around. In fact, as they take him upstairs, they point out that this room, this unfinished bedroom, will one day be yours and Tata's.
This is gonna be your future room.
Anak, saya kasih kamar. Kalau pulang, kamu sana. Itu hampir selesai.
Almost done.
Almost done? Almost.
How incredibly kind and generous. He really wants his kids to feel welcome. He wants them to know that they have a place to stay when they visit. But that's where the problems begin. His reaction leaves a whole lot to be desired.
It looks like I'm stepping into a prison. Right now, I would never be able to sleep, not in this room.
Has he never heard the saying, beggars can't be choosers? He and his wife want to live there for free. So maybe don't criticise, maybe don't bite the hand that's feeding you. Like maybe, just maybe, had you given her parents a bit more of a heads up, had they known that you're actually planning to move there to live, they might have prioritised finishing the room. But since they had no clue, I find it quite tough to have much sympathy for James here. And by the looks of it, Tata's parents don't have much sympathy for him either. You see, before marrying Tata, he promised them 3 specific things. He promised to give them grandkids, he promised to take care of Tata, and he promised he'd learn to speak Indonesian.
Ingat dulu pernah janji kepengen bahasa Indonesia 5 tahun yang lalu.
That was 5 years ago.
Too long.
Now, James apologises and he promises he will make more of an effort, but you can see that her parents, especially her mum, have their doubts. And perhaps sensing this, perhaps sensing that he's already under the microscope and it's only day 1, he admits he's very worried about how they'll react when they find out he's also letting them down on his other 2 promises as well.
I'm not sure how they're gonna handle the other 2 when they find out how my feelings are about having children, and I still have no way and don't know how I'm going to take care of Tata.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, adapting to his new life here is going to be very tough for James. Now, when we join them the next morning, after they've had their alone time, Tata takes James to the local shops to begin getting acquainted with his new home. And it's here, faced with the prospect of presumably spending some money, that the topic arises of what they're gonna do for work. Is working for your parents really the best idea? Asks James.
I know Tata's told me that her parents don't pay family members to help with the banana chips, but in our situation, I'm really hoping they're willing to make an exception.
They still have no other plans for how they're going to support themselves. They're hoping to work for her parents, but just get paid. You know, they need money. Now, Tata isn't sure that that will happen, but she thinks they might be able to sell the chips and get a commission, but that might not be enough. And as James reminds her, they have a lot of monthly expenses, even now.
And with the car right now, we're still paying for that. That alone is like $700 a month. That's gonna just wipe us out real fast.
Excuse me? What? They're paying $700 a month on a car? And they think they're gonna make that back selling banana chips on commission? James explains that he had $10,000 in savings. Money he claims would have lasted them 2 years in Indonesia, something I find quite difficult to believe. But regardless, when his car broke down, he had to spend $8,000 of his savings to fix the car. And that's a car they don't even own. They're still paying it off $700 a month. If they don't find a source of income very soon, their $2,000 of life savings is going to be wiped out fast. It's a dire situation. Yeah, Tata senses that all of a sudden James may have come to his senses. He may have suddenly realised that this move might not be such a great idea.
Is that even something that we could make here, $700 a month? Especially selling banana chips for your dad.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's gonna be hard, she says, but I don't care. We're not leaving. In fact, I want to tell my parents tonight that we're moving here permanently and we're not going back to the States.
That's really fast. It's been 1 day.
Now, of course, understandably, given everything he's just learnt, James isn't on board with that idea. He thinks they're making a terrible mistake, but Tata just doesn't want to hear it.
Why we need to wait?
I don't feel like it's a real thing 100% yet.
It is. We're moving. I think we can try to talk to them tonight.
It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens next. Now, as it turns out, James isn't the only one this week who's very unsure about their big move.
After about 10 hours on the plane, I'm finally across the pond, and I've spent most of the flight panicking about what I'm doing.
Statler's left everything behind, right? So that must be scary. Keep in mind, she's told us in the past that she's neurodivergent, or neurospicy, as she likes to call it. So that might also be a factor here. That probably also explains why this change is so scary for her. But I've got to say, if someone is this freaked out about a choice that they made of their own free will, then you've got to say it's probably the wrong choice.
My friend has me doubting if Dempsey is using me, and there's no backup plan. Holy what the have I done?
Statler's definitely letting all of her doubts take over. She clearly isn't excited about having a home on wheels, and she's also worried about her level of debt. Now, she says she's trying to stay positive, but it doesn't seem that way. It really does look like she's shutting down. But in the meantime, unaware of all of this, Dempsey has arrived at the airport waiting for Statler. Her mood is very different. She's in very good spirits. She has high hopes.
Statler said to me that she'll be excited when she gets here, so I'm just waiting for her to be excited when she gets here. That's what's on my mind.
Dempsey's really hoping that Statler will be excited when she arrives. At the very least, she hopes she'll be happy to see her. But knowing how much Statler has been freaking herself out, I doubt Dempsey's going to be getting her wish. And when Statler does eventually walk through the arrivals gates, they hug, but the greeting is very lukewarm. "What's up?" asks Dempsey. In fact, hold on a minute. Why don't you have a bag?
They lost it. It'll be delivered tomorrow.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. It's less I have to carry, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, Statler, you seem thrilled about it. Look, I get it. She's obviously exhausted from travelling and worrying. But they haven't seen each other in months. This is meant to be the woman that she loves more than anything in the world. They're about to embark on an adventure. Shouldn't she at least try to be a bit more happy about it? Well, thankfully, she kind of gets the memo and tries to make a bit more of an effort.
Yay, I'm here.
Are you excited to see me?
Yes, I'm excited to see you.
Yeah, as I said, she's kind of trying to make a bit more of an effort, but it would really help if she let her face know to do the same too. Her attempts to try and crack a smile look like she's more in pain than she is happy. This definitely isn't going the way that Dempsey envisioned.
You're not happy?
No.
It makes me sad.
Why? You have no reason to be sad. I'm here.
Just look at Dempsey's face. She has no idea how to handle Statler like this. She's being super dismissive about Dempsey's feelings. But from her perspective, Statler doesn't understand why Dempsey isn't just satisfied and happy that she's there. Sure, she might not be on her best spirits, but she's just travelled to be here. She's just lost her bag. Like, give me a break. I'm here, aren't I?
I'm not gonna try to force myself to fake it. Like, that's one part of me that you like, that I'm real. I'm always honest and real, so I'm being real.
Look, I get that she isn't feeling it, but she isn't acting great here. Remember, this was her choice. No one held a gun and forced her to do this. But it's starting to feel like maybe Statler is believing what her friend was telling her. Maybe those seeds of doubt have started to take hold. Maybe she really does feel like Dempsey is just taking advantage of her. I mean, look at her. She's terrified, and her mood is spilling over and sucking out the joy that they should be having in these moments. Like, if this is how it's all gonna start, then you've got to imagine it's only gonna get worse from here. Either they get on the same page quickly, or they're doomed.
What? Like, are you for real? I've not seen you for 2 months. We're going on this amazing journey and nothing.
Okay, Dempsey, while that may definitely be true for you, keep in mind, it might be a bit easier to be so excited when you aren't the one that's got into debt to pay for the camper van. The camper van they're now on their way to go and collect. It's funny because they haven't even bought the damn thing yet, but already Statler is over it. She'd much rather just go to a hotel, but that isn't happening. And now, it's starting to look like Dempsey's mood is souring too.
In my eyes, she doesn't really have anything to worry about. If this is how she's acting on day one, I really don't know if we're gonna work.
I'm not sure how they're gonna work either. Now, Statler says she's happy being in misery. She's not the one in charge of Dempsey's happiness. And this starts the first argument of the trip. They begin to snap at each other. They start cursing at each other.
I'm not in charge of your happiness. You're in charge of your happiness. Let me be in charge of my misery. I'm enjoying it just fine, thank you.
I'll enjoy it then.
What did you call me?
said off.
Frankly, both should be doing better here. Both should be doing better at taking the other into consideration. Yeah, it's really not a good start to the trip. And I really can't see it getting any better when they're in a cramped camper van together. If this is how little tolerance they have for each other now, then that's just gonna get less and less, surely. Now, while Statler and Dempsey have limited space, someone who has an altogether very different problem are Josh and Lily. You see, we join them as they're playing badminton.
I'm not one for sports. I never really liked competition, but I know Lily enjoys badminton.
Yeah, he might not enjoy it, he might not like playing sports, but good for him for doing something his wife enjoys, even if he doesn't. Maybe Statler and Dempsey should make notes. Now, for her part, Lily and her friends all appreciate the effort that Josh is making.
Wow, you are my hero. 打球非常棒，非常棒。
对你老公打得很好。
我老公打得很好，是吗？
That's a really nice exchange. Like, again, Statler and Dempsey take notes because this is how you talk to someone if you want them to enjoy something, if you want them to do it again. Now, Lily again tells Josh he really impressed her with how he played and they had fun together. But when they take a break and sit down, when Lily explains that badminton is how she gets rid of all of her stress, we learn that it's also caused a lot of arguments between the pair.
I think you jealous. I'm with guys play. So, but today, I think you understand. Just play, honey.
So it turns out that Josh got jealous when Lily was playing badminton with other men. He admits that he'd get insecure when she wouldn't have a video call with him so that he couldn't see what she was doing. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Come on, Josh. How's she meant to hold a video call while she's playing? Don't get me wrong, jealousy is very common in lots of relationships, particularly in long-distance relationships. But the way that Josh seems to have handled this isn't okay.
Sometimes you hurt words to me. Example, you think I'm love you is fit love you.
Josh has told her on multiple occasions apparently that he thinks she doesn't really love him. Remember, these two are married. That's his wife he's accusing of faking love. Now, it's very clear that what Josh said, his words really cut Lily deep. They've really affected her. So Josh tries to get vulnerable with her. He tries to explain that he feels like this. These feelings are caused because of past scars.
I've been in relationships where I've been abandoned, and I just don't want to ever feel you'll abandon me.
That sounds like something Josh is really going to need to work internally on. Those are the sorts of feelings that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you keep telling someone that they're going to leave, don't be surprised if eventually they leave. Now, Lily tells Josh to treat her as her own woman. Don't confuse me with your exes. Stop deliberately saying things you know will hurt me, she says. And while we've yet to see these two have an argument and blow up, you get the sense that there's a lot more to come from these two. There's a lot that we don't yet know about them.
Lily and I are no strangers to arguments. I was hoping when I got here that all the arguments would go away. I'm realizing we have more problems than I thought we did.
What between money problems, communication issues, and now jealousy, I don't think this relationship is always going to be smooth sailing.